Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here. Today is Monday, July 17. Here's a loop of the day to get your week started. All right, there it is. Let's break it down. So we're going to start with the piano track. I just want to show you guys the chords and how the harmony works and the key changes and all that. And then I'll go back and I'll play the other tracks so you can hear what the drums and the bass are doing and everything else. So here's the piano. Okay, here we go. We're going to start in the key of C major. And we're going to climb up 1, 2, 3. So C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7. And then we're going to go to F minor 7, which is sort of the minor 4 chord in the key of C. And that's going to act as a pivot chord because the minor 4 chord in the key of C is going to become the 2 chord in the key of E flat major. So that's B flat 7. And now we're on E flat major. So that's our little modulation there from C major to E flat major. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go to the minor 4 chord in the key of E flat major now, which is A flat minor 7. To the 5 corresponding to, well, let's say this. If A flat minor 7 is the 2 chord, the corresponding 5 chord would be D flat. And then we're at G flat major 7, which is the new 1 chord. We've modulated to G flat major 7. Same thing as before, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to minor 4. And this time we have a E13 sus. But instead of going to A major here, we're going to go back to G flat major 7. So we're not doing the full out modulation. That time we're doing we'll call this minor 4 to flat 7 sus, E being the flat 7 chord in the key of G flat major, and then back to 1, which is G flat major 7. And then we're going to do a 2-5-1, a minor 2-5-1 actually. So this is a D minor 7 half flat 5 or D half diminished, going to G flat 9, G7 flat 9, something like that. And that's how we get back to C. So we go from C major 7, we modulate to E flat major, to G flat major, and then we do a modulation back to C major with this D minor 7 flat 5 to the G7 to get us back to C major 7. So that is the chord progression. There's a melody that goes along with it that goes like this. And then we take that same melody and we go up the minor 3rd to get into the key of E flat major. One more time. Now we're up another minor 3rd to G flat major. So a little bit different that time because we're not going up another minor 3rd, which would be A major. Remember, we're going to stay in the key of G flat major on that last one. And then to get us back to C major, so I'll play the track that has that melody in it so you can hear what it sounds like. In this track here, we have the what's playing the melody. We've got the organ is playing the melody, the synth. I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to play the melody with the piano part at the same time. Okay, so there it is. That's the melody. Okay, so let's go over the rest of the track now. I'll start with the drums. This is another Easy Drummer kit. I think this is the 60s soul kit, so it has kind of a vintage vibe to it. And something that I did to kind of help out the kit just a little bit, I felt like the kick drum wasn't coming through. I put the kick on its own track, and I used some plugins here from Slate to help out with the kick. So I added a little of this earth, which kind of gives it some oomph. Actually, you know what? That's not even on, so we can turn that. We can get that out of here. So I used the this is called CS Lift. It kind of just boosts some of the low end, some of the top end, and then this FG Bomber thing just gives it a little bit more of an impact. So that helps the kick cut through a bit. You know what? I'll play this with and without those plugins so you can hear what it sounds like. So this is with those plugins in. Listen to the kick. Back in. It would help if I actually played the kick drum. Okay, now we'll do it again. Okay, I'm going to turn the plugins off. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. See how it kind of loses some of the oomph? I'll put it back in at the top. Off. Back on. So you can hear that kick coming in a lot stronger once I put on those plugins. It really does help, and it sounds nice and strong, especially when it's just the drum soloed. I probably wouldn't have the kick up that high if it were just drums, but since the rest of the track, there's a lot going on, I think it is definitely appropriate to have that kick coming in nice and strong so that it is heard and felt in the mix. Okay, the bass is something that I played. Let's hear what that sounds like with the drums. So you can kind of hear, even just with the bass line, all those modulations, they kind of work going from one to the next. Let's add the piano back in. So this trio is actually what's happening at the back half of the tune. Oh, and I also add the tambourine there. You can hear that in the drums. It gives it a nice little push forward. The piano part, you know, originally I came up with this just with the piano part, and then I had the drums and the bass, and I thought it was cool with the trio. And then I decided, well, what if I added all this other nonsense? And that's what is the first half here. So the keys part is this. You can hear it here by itself. Just gives it a little bit of a, sort of almost like a pad behind it with a bit of percussiveness. You can hear that in context. Okay, the organ is playing the melody. And then the synth is also playing the melody. It's pretty cheesy, I'm not gonna lie, but it's kind of fun, and why not? Why not? It's Monday. So the noise track here, by the way, this guitar, I'm not using this. I thought it might be nice to double on guitar, but I don't think it's necessary, so I muted it. The noise track is just a bit of white noise to kind of give this whole thing a bit of a bed to sit on. So this is what the noise track sounds like. It's just white noise. And you can hear there's a filter on there that's opening up. And there's a little bit of panning as well. So it's kind of doing this sort of back and forth thing in the stereo field. And also, I have this cool plugin from Waves called the, I can't open it because it's frozen. Here we go. The One Knob Pumper, which basically just gives that sort of side chainy effect where it's like, that was a terrible impression. But you can kind of hear what this does. Check this out. If I really exaggerate it, if I turn it up to 10 versus like 2, it just gives it that sort of breathing feel to it. You hear that a lot in like pop music and EDM especially. Again, the second half is just the trio. So that's the track. You guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. That was sort of a quick overview there, but happy to go into it more if you're interested. So that's it. That's loop number 2. We're on a roll here, 2 in a row. Let's go for 3 tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.